This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, April 9, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call tonight after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to look at a lot of things that have transpired and what's happening now, and what we're looking at as far as actually taking place, and then the impact it will have on the people in this country alone. Through the course of a lifetime, we all seem to get pulled into this feeling of falling off the path. When the frail, egoic human persona takes over, we tend to get wrapped up in identifying ourselves as small, limited, powerless, time-bound people who are temporarily imprisoned in a physical human form. The human experience can hypnotize us into believing that we are lost, poor, insecure, unhappy. We're simply off track. Good news is that the truth is always much bigger than the mind can fathom. Whenever we perceive life to be some random, challenging, confusing experience, take an afternoon to digest these 5 discoveries. They will open up the inner avenues of connection so you reestablished a heartfelt relationship with your spiritual essence and soon discover the all-powerful, magical, manifesting being you truly are. Now, the first step to opening the doorway to meeting your sacred soul starts with feeling into your basic core nature, who you are at the very innermost core level. You are a super powerful divine being. Exploring this exposes you to become the highest authority of your reality and your life, where you decide what is real and what is not. You are the one who is constantly seeing, believing, and perceiving the reality you think is true. The mind is always right about what it believes is real. It's never wrong about what direction it's thinking and believing. Even if we fall off the deep end and believe 1 + 2 = 4, the mind will be very righteous about that. Have you met people like that? There are more than you think. The mind is all coiled up in an old habit of making up fantastic stories about who and what you are and are not. When this mind drops, you drop into your core basic nature, mindless, still, and free from all thought. The mind will still try to say that you are not enough of this and too much of that. Do not listen to the mind. Listen to your heart instead. There is an unlimited field of loving, sweet energy in your heart, which is the doorway to having a full body, deeply healing, spiritual awakening experience. You want to make sure you're in a comfortable position, no outside interference, relaxed into your body, still as a statue, focused on your breath rising and falling. The second step to revealing your soul is found within this space-time continuum. Where would the soul reside if it was simply resting and relaxing at the center of you? Where specifically and exactly is the core of you? When you look within yourself, where in space and time is the very center of this thing called you? When you find it, rest for many hours in that space. You'll discover that you are pure, powerful, perfect, complete consciousness. You are the source of divine perfection. The more we can relax into our center, the easier it becomes to realize there never ever was anything wrong with any of us. That was all just a big fancy show of the mind, fabricating new stories again. Your soul is beyond the mind. It is the ever-present, eternal witness at the core essence of you. And is always there, always available, and ready to be explored. This is the inner journey everyone is seeking. It's the one that can take lifetimes to discover. And until we find it, we cannot know deep, everlasting peace. Eventually, we all will. The spiritual stream of sacredness follows us wherever we go. There are no mistakes anywhere, at any time. What appears to be wrong is simply your own false imagination. Robert Adams. When we can really relax deep down into the core of our being, the eyes of the soul begin seeing through us. We can perceive the universal spiritual path within the mundane and understand how it's truly impossible to screw up this life. When we relax, we begin to truly trust life. We can feel like we have an infinite amount of time, energy, resources, creativity, and knowledge to get it. Only in a very deep relaxation can we surrender enough to bathe in our soul's true eternal essence. The ego and mind are set on the back burner. There is no second guessing about if we have arrived in the parking lot of our soul or not. It's so obvious, it's like the difference between knowing the sun is shining or not. There is only this pure feeling of knowing, getting that we are all unlimited, unbounded, perfect beings connected in each moment to an infinite stream of conscious, intelligent energy. The soul makes us wake up and realize that we can do the impossible. Its energy is so powerful, eternal, and cannot be changed. The more we relax into this understanding, the more we stop fighting with our mind and its list of unfulfilled desires. We simply give up following our thoughts blindly around and begin relaxing beneath them into the quiet solitude underneath the mind, which makes everything in life more interesting and less challenging than it needs to be. The third step is to unveiling our spiritual amazingness is in the practice of a thing called trust. The universe is always protecting you, helping you, and serving your highest good. It has never, ever abandoned any of us and is always here assisting us to blaze through our challenges to find our greatest possible joy in this life. When we trust in this process, everything changes in our perception and reality. This universe is conspiring in your favor. It wants what you want. Just notice what it feels like to sit back and relax into the feeling of trusting in this universe and knowing it is guiding you. When we practice the trust vibe, we can listen easily to the subtle hints from this universe. We know our life purpose and spiritual direction, and we stop ignoring it. The trusting signs are there. Just look for them. Take heed. Stop getting into the way of your highest possibility. It is in trusting this universe that we can give ourselves permission to manifest the most amazing, miraculous lives we could ever imagine. We actually get what we truly want through trusting. We stop settling for a fear-based, rushed lifestyle that we do not really desire. I invite you right now to take time to settle yourself in the energy of trust. Right now. Breathe it into your body. Feel it inside your heart. Practice this one all day long, all night long. Notice how good this feels. See if you can notice how many ways this universe is guiding, assisting, and protecting you in the next 48 hours. It is an amazing feeling when you can remain in the state of trust all week long, as it is this energy which opens the door to let your soul's full presence to come flying through. Now, fourth step to discovering your soul comes from recognizing and letting go of your what? Fears. Fears, fears, fears. Take the time when you're in the grocery line to find out what you're truly afraid of in life. Look deep inside and face whatever old dark demons are inside you. They are just you hiding from your own soul. Our fears are not meant to haunt us and stay with us forever. That is not their purpose. If we are not facing our fears every day, then they are not fully serving you. You're meant to work with fear. Push up against it so that you expand your sense of self and grow beyond it. Release your attachments to what the fear means. And realize each one is merely a ridiculous, misguided thought. That's all it is. It's just a thought. Give yourself fully over to being a fearless human being by facing every fear that arises. You get to know your true warrior self as an all-loving, all-powerful, fearless, multidimensional spiritual being with unlimited potentiality, who knew the darkness would lead us to the light. And with just a little exploration, and our daily journey home becomes a very sacred healing process. What is the journey home? It's discovering that we are a God in the body. Only you can say where the road goes. Everyone sets their goals for the hour, for the relationship, and for every phase of life. L. Ron Hubbard. Now, the fifth step to uncovering your sparkling, bright soul comes from retraining your brain to be alert and remain focused only on that which you truly desire. What do you want in life? In this life? What you want wants you to have it. And when you can keep your mind focused on what you want and off what you don't want, most amazing things will manifest in your presence. Nobody cares to hear what's on your long list of complaints. Put your kingdom of don't wants up for sale. Recalibrate your mind to meditate on what you do desire. What are those things that make your heart sing? You ever ask yourself that? What are they? We all have them. There's nobody that doesn't have them on this planet. Now, there might be some people that think they don't have them, but they do. The simple refocusing of the mind on what we want in this life is incredibly powerful and transformative. Once the mind comes around to the conclusion that as long as it's focusing on what it doesn't want, it's never going to be happy, then it starts to rely more on pure awareness to liberate it. And it is already deeply trained and programmed to rewind and replay the same 60,000 thoughts it had yesterday. Doesn't like to deviate from the norm. Yet when we redirect it to remain focused on what we want to think about all day long, our soul peeks through and opens everything up like a flower meeting the first morning rays of sunshine. You come to feel the amazing warmth that is inside your being. This is the day you truly know your soul intimately. And it will show everyone in the most natural, unassuming ways the all-powerful, deeply eternal loving being we already are. Don't waste your life for that which is going to be taken away. Trust life. Trust God. If you trust, only then can you drop your knowledge. Only then can you put your mind aside. And with trust, something immense opens up. Then this life is no longer ordinary life. Becomes full of God, overflowing. Osho. So we've got, so many tools at our disposal. So many things that we can incorporate for ourselves to help us, assist us, and guide us. And to discover, quite frankly, who and what we are by going within and discovering the soul, and within the soul is the God. And embracing that. Embracing everything. This way we leave no stone unturned. So we're here to learn about who and what we are through material physical life. That's it in a nutshell. Now along the way, of course, we're pretty much infancy because we don't have a clue. Everything's been wiped away. So we don't know. And we rely on what? Those around us. We rely on our parents. We rely on our brothers and sisters. We rely on friends. We rely on everybody, strangers. All of it. To do what? Teach us. To program us. And then we get programmed. And then we continue to be programmed, as long as we're in these bodies. Now, most of the time, the majority of us leave the body, and then we end up coming back in most cases. So then we come back in. Okay, so what do we do in there? We come back in. We do it again, and again, and again. you can see how imperative it is in this life for us to go within. Because you know what's waiting us? Another life. And another life. And another life. Now, doesn't it make sense that we in this life, when we're in this very now moment, we have the opportunity to discover who and what we are. What happens when we do that? That we discover who and what we are? Well, we realize that we can manifest anything we choose, whenever we choose. We realize that we've mastered our ego mind and it is no longer there. See, this is all part of our ascension. And then what does that mean about us being zapped? Because we are. It's a very powerful electrical charge that hits us gods when we're coming and going. And we lose information. We don't really lose it. It's just we don't remember it. Now, what happens when we decide, when we actually do, while in physical material form, discover who and what we are? I mean, truly so, not superficially. And we leave the body. When we leave the body, then what do? Well, we know there's this light, by the way. This light, it keeps coming. It's relentless. It's a relentless little bugger. It keeps coming, the light does. Never stops. Keeps coming and coming and coming and coming. But see, after you've left the body, you realize that you are the light. Then what happens? Well, there are controllers in this quadrant of our galaxy. And they're the ones responsible for us having amnesia all the time. They are. So what happens to them? They lose their authority over us. And they lose the operation of their mechanisms over us. And then, what's the third step with them? They are no more. So, remember, knowing who and what you are, you did that on earth in the body. You know you're the light also, and pure consciousness, pure deep eternal love, as the soul and the God within it. And you know that the light that comes after you is not the true light. You are. You're the true light. You always have been, always will be, ever, beyond, and forever. Period. This other light is a matrix system. It's part of this matrix that keeps us from discovering who and what we are. Interesting, huh? So then, see, now, what's the challenge for us? Okay. Well, once we do discover who and what we are, then we realize that everything is at our disposal. Everything. We can command, we can manifest, we can create anything and everything. And no interference and no amnesia. What kind of experience, what kind of existence would that be? Off the charts. We wouldn't have all that stuff that we normally do, all the baggage and all the stuff. We would have mastered it already. Would we come back into another physical material life? You know why we would? Because, see, now we have our memory back fully restored. We know who and what we are. So we enter a body, and interference is gone. Wow, that's amazing. So why would we go into a body? Wow, wouldn't that be amazing to go into a physical form knowing what we know that we never did before, and heart-mindedness. No ego mind. See, this is the beginning of a God-planet paradise. It has nothing to do with all the shenanigans happening on this planet at this very moment, in this very now. Period. Has nothing to do with it. Not even a crumb of it. It is what we discover within ourselves so that we can expand and grow and flourish and ascend. So that our divine perfection keeps expanding. That's a whole different scenario than what we have now. It's the difference between day and night. But can you feel that in your heart mind? How fantastic, spectacular, magna-glorious that is, that all the stuff that's kept us at bay as gods for millions and millions and millions of years, billions of years, is gone. Been eliminated. We're no longer gods that have been enslaved and have had amnesia for billions of years. People say, well, what do you mean God's enslaved? It's just what's happened to us. We're seduced by an artificial light that tells us to go into it because we don't know any better for ourselves. We haven't learned. We don't know. So what do? Go into the light. And then what happens? It all starts over again. And then we have our memory back on the other side of the matrix. You know, there's, this is great. And then we head on in to another body, and then zoopy-toopy, bam, we're zapped. All right? And then we enter utero with the mother, and we come out in baby bodies, and then we start experiencing. It's like I've said before, we do have some memory, but it fades after a few years. Does that make any sense to any of us? Doesn't, does it? It seems just so redundant, and we're not really going anywhere, are we? And everything that you learn in this life, think about this, okay? Let's just address this life. And you leave the body, and you don't know who and what you are, truly so, deep within your center. Let's just keep doing this over and over again. And we leave this life and we forget. We don't remember this life. That's just mind-boggling. And then when we do get a chance to look at the life that we left, right? All the things in it. Oh, then we remember this, remember that, but we're no longer in that life. And then, of course, it's zapped out of us when we come back into another life. It's zapped out of us when we leave that life. This is what we're talking about. This is where our attention should be. Not on all this other stuff. All that other stuff's a distraction. If you look throughout the ages of this civilization and those that came before it, look at where we're at as a species. That's all you got to do. You're not judging anything. You're just reviewing. You're looking. And have we, as a people, as a civilization, as a species, on this planet, most people call Earth, and look at everything right in this now, right in the now moment. Where have we been? And where are we going? Really? And that means not out there. It means inside of us. Would you like to continue the redundancy of reincarnating for the next billion years and having this same process where you don't remember, then you go in another body and you experience and you don't remember, and it just keeps going? When we look at the civilization, those of us who are aware enough to a certain extent, have we really, truly progressed, advanced, or ascended? Or are we still on the hamster wheel? It's an impactful question, and the answer is super impactful. What is that? What, We've got all these powers, and yet we don't know how to use them, and most of the time we don't even know who and what we are to use them. Is it a negative? Not really. It's just we haven't discovered it. Hey, wait a minute. We're not going to do this anymore. Yeah. We've been on this merry-go-round long enough. We're going within to discover who and what we are once and for all. Drop all of our baggage, all of this programming that basically taught us how to live a lie, and just basically move into peace, silence, tranquility, benevolence with ourselves. Discover the true power we truly are. And then the material physical life becomes a joy. It really does. You might say, well, maybe I'll throw this in there. Well, let's make sure it's not too much of a challenge where it devastates me. Just enough where I'll learn. Nothing super devastating. We've all had lifetimes of devastation. Cataclysms, all kinds of stuff. Yet, and I've had this more recently come from people on this planet that they're pretty much done with it. They're done with that process. Never remembering your past lives, and never knowing, and always coming in totally blind, not knowing who and what you are, because you're an enslaved God. Been tricked for eons. Tricked. And many of us are waking up and saying, nah, I'm not going to be tricked anymore. Not interested in it. What about your ego mind? Well, I love my ego mind. My ego mind helps me a lot in this life. But now it's time to transcend that. Because I want to spend all my time with my heart mind, which is the doorway to the God that I am within this body. And I got to find out about that. Because I don't care to leave the body and go through this crap again. Which is basically what? Leave the body, follow the light, go into the light, cross over, go into that part of the matrix, experience it, and after a period of time decide to go back into a body and do it all over again in a different life. Why are we doing this? Why have we been doing it so long? Because we've been trapped. This is a trap. This is a matrix trap. It keeps us from knowing ourselves. Doesn't it? Really does. Very well, too, by the way. Very well engineered. It keeps us from knowing ourselves. It keeps us from self-discovery. It keeps us from knowing that we are gods, omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant beings that never die. That's what we truly are. Pure consciousness. But the matrix makes sure that we do not discover that. See? That's the process. We all do it. We all go through the process. We leave the body. We don't know who and what we are. And the light comes, and then we go into the light. And there's all kinds of play acting going on. There's hell. You can visit hell, which is in the Matrix, okay? You can visit heaven, which is in the Matrix. The Matrix version. And there's a lot of trickery, and there's a lot that, I mean, to trick gods, it takes a lot. And so we were tricked, and we've been tricked for billions of years, and now we're going to become untricked. Join in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body. Focus on your breath rising and falling. Deep inside your being is an all-powerful awareness that is very awake. Present and align with the isness for today. Present and aligned with the isness today. Sink into the surrender to that which is always present, always listening, always watching, and always aware. It is in experiencing. Allow your awareness to guide you through whatever experiences you have in your body and mind. Trust that it is all you will ever need. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night the following morning. We'll return here tonight for the Time for Change call, Wednesday, April 9th, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, and Thursday, April 10 already, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's happening within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.